we'll get started, and we're going to start on our backs, okay? So it's a relaxing day outside, a little bit rainy, a little bit gray. Maybe you've just woken up. Maybe you've just rolled out of bed. I'm not far behind you. So let's come back onto our backs here. If it's comfortable for you to keep your knees bent and your feet on the floor, maybe your knees leaning in toward one another. You know, maybe it's more comfortable to take a cushion or a blanket and place it underneath your lower back or your neck for some support. And we're just going to find a position that feels good for us. Sometimes for me, the hair placement is always the issue here. So I'm going to tuck my hair out of the way so I can lengthen the back of my neck. And you can place your hands either by your sides. If you want, you can place them on your belly. Maybe you take one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart. And let's just take a few moments to arrive at our practice here. So as I said in the beginning, we're not going to judge anything that comes up. If your mind wanders, let it go. Just bring it back to the breath. And if you need a point to focus on, you can always come back to the breath here. So beginning to feel your belly rise as you inhale nice and deep. Maybe taking a big inhale through the nose. And let it out through the mouth with a big sigh. Ah. I'm going to do that twice more if you want to come with me. A big inhale in through the nose. And a big sigh out the mouth. And one more time. Big inhale, nice and deep. Exhale. And as we ground our bodies down here in our spaces, let's just start to bring our awareness to our breath. Really lengthening that inhale and lengthening the exhale. Maybe if your hand is on your belly, you feel your belly rise on the inhale. And feel your belly fall on the exhale. If you're comfortable with it, you can close your eyes down. We'll be here for a few more breaths. Just coming to feel the backside of the body on the ground. Feeling the opening in the front side of the body. And now as you're ready, if you'd like to join me, you can come in for a nice big stretch. Maybe taking the arms overhead, bringing the feet together, pointing the toes, getting as long as you can on your mats here. Maybe a yawn comes in. A yawn always comes in whenever I have a big stretch. So welcome the yawn, enjoy it. Take a big breath in here, get really long. Exhale and let it go. We're going to come into Banana Asana. So we'll begin by walking the feet over to the left side of the mat and off of the left side. Now shimmy your shoulders and your head over to the left, keeping your hips grounded. And you can take your right leg and cross it over your left ankle. You can even take your left make that your left hand and reach up and grab your right wrist, taking your arms up and over toward the left. We're just feeling into the side body here, feeling that stretch from your shoulder down to your hip, breathing into the spaces between the ribs. Take a big inhale here to expand the rib cage. Exhale. Let's take one more big inhale. Exhale, release. We'll come back to center, shimmying the legs back to center, and then taking them over to the right side this time. Shimmying them off the right side of the mat. You can cross your left ankle over your right, and then we'll take the shoulders and shimmy the shoulders over to the right as well. Arms can be way up overhead here, and maybe you grab your left wrist with your right index finger and thumb, or middle finger and thumb. Just reach the arms overhead, feeling that space in the side of the body here. Maybe you really feel that stretch from the hip all the way up to the shoulder. And just use your breath here to expand the spaces between your ribs, taking a big inhale in and exhale. Again, big inhale in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Beautiful. We'll release and shimmy the legs and shoulders back towards the center. And let's bring our knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a big hug here. Squeeze them in nice and tight. And then maybe rock side to side, just giving your lower back a little massage. We'll take a big inhale. And then on the exhale, we're just going to open up the arms to a capital T and gently let your knees fall over to the right. Sorry, or the left. It doesn't really matter. Whatever side feels good for you. I'm taking mine over to the left. So coming in for a spinal twist here. Just stacking those knees and allowing them to fall over to the left or the right. Feeling the backs of your shoulders sink down into the ground. If you'd like, you can bend the elbows and place the back of the palms on the ground here. Give yourself a little bit of a shoulder stretch with cactus arms. Maybe you really feel that opening in the front side of the body across the chest. Use a big inhale to open up. Exhale. Beautiful. So from here, we're going to take our right hand, or the opposite hand of where your legs are stacked, and we're going to bring it over as we turn over to the same side as our legs. So forgive me, I'm going to turn away from you, but I'm just going to cue you through this. So if your knees are over to the left, take your left arm and begin to place it down on the ground as you lift your torso up. Okay? So left elbow is coming underneath the left shoulder, and just relax the forearm down. Now from here, you're going to lengthen the top leg out in front of you. Okay, so it's my right leg is going to lengthen out toward the side. And this bottom leg can stay bent on the ground, or you can take your hand and reach for the foot and start to pull the heel in towards the glutes to give yourself a little bit of a stretch. So we've got a little bit of a spinal twist happening here. We're stretching that bottom leg and the top leg. Just some gentle tension here. Big breath in through the nose and release. I just learned this pose. It's called cat pulling its tail. So if it feels awkward for you, it's fine. It feels a bit awkward for me. I've not really done it very much in the past. But let's stay with it. Let's take one more big inhale. And then we'll exhale and release the bottom leg if you were grabbing onto the foot. And we'll come back onto our backs. This time bringing the knees back up toward the center. And then let's take them over to the opposite side. So for me, it's over to the right. If it's to the left for you, no problem. Allowing the knees to fall, giving yourselves a little spinal twist here. Again, you can open the arms up to the side, or you can cactus by bending the elbows and bringing the back of the palms to the ground. Big inhale in here. Exhale. One more. Fill the belly up with air. And exhale. Good job. Now we're going to come into that pose, cat pulling its tail once again. So you're going to take that back arm and bring it around toward the front. We're just going to press up onto our forearm here. So placing that elbow directly underneath the shoulder. The bottom leg is going to stay bent, and the top leg is going to extend out in front. Okay? So you can stay here, just giving yourself a little bit of a stretch in this top hip. If you'd like, you can go ahead and grab that bottom foot. And you can pull the heel in toward the glute if you want a little bit more of a quad stretch for your leg there. Just some gentle tension here. Maybe you feel that in the upper hip, in the side body. Just breathe into it. Maybe it feels awkward for you. You're not alone. I'm with you on that. We'll take one more big inhale in here. Exhale, let's release that foot and we'll come back down onto our backs. Let's bring our knees back up into the chest once more. Give yourself a big squeeze and then allow the knees to come over to the right. And we're going to press up onto all fours. So when you're ready, coming to a tabletop position here. We're going to stack the shoulders over the wrists, spread those palms wide, and we're going to stack the hips over the knees. Now take your knees hip width distance apart and find a nice flat back here. So really feel those fingertips press down into the ground as you lift the front body, not allowing your body to fall forward, using the strength in your arms and your core to press away from the earth. We're going to breathe in nice and deep and just really feel ourselves grounding down here. Feeling the front body lift up and away from the ground. Building strength in the arms and in the core right away. See if you can take your gaze forward and out to lengthen the back of the neck. And see if you can draw your shoulders down and away from your ears so that you keep your collarbone nice and broad here. Let's take a big inhale. Exhale. Once more, inhale and exhale. Beautiful. From here, you're going to bring your forearms down to exactly where your palms are. Your elbows are going to land. So taking the elbows underneath your shoulders now. Placing the forearms on the ground, we're just going to walk the hands slightly forward, okay? Reaching forward with the fingertips. The hips are staying stacked over the knees. You can feel a lengthening in your spine maybe, and if this is enough for you, you can stay here. If you'd like a little bit more of a stretch, you can begin to melt your heart down towards the earth. Maybe your forehead comes down, maybe your chin comes down. And this is our puppy pose. Now you might feel a really intense stretch in the back side of the body between the shoulders. Just stay with it. If you need to lift up a little bit, no problem. Now one final cue. See if you can take your biceps and rotate them up and out. So imagine your biceps are rotating outwards and the back of the arm is rotating downwards. If that cue doesn't land with you, no problem, just leave it alone. Let's find a few moments of stillness in here and take some breaths in puppy pose. Beautiful. As you're ready, just sink the hips back down towards the heels and draw the hands back, bringing the palms, the back of the palms down towards the ground, coming in for a child's pose. Now your knees can be separated here, or your knees can be together. If you have a block or a cushion, you can always use that underneath your forehead to give your neck some support. We'll take a few breaths here in child's pose. We're going to rise up and come back into our puppy pose once again. So beginning to come into that tabletop position, we'll start here, making sure our hips are stacked directly over our knees, and we'll bring our elbows down underneath our shoulders, okay? So your forearms are making an 11, spreading the palms wide, really feel that connection with your palms in the ground, and then begin to walk the hands a little bit forward. Fingertips are reaching towards the top of the mat, and your hips are directly over those knees. Now, if you can already feel that stretch in the back side of the body, just stay right where you are. If you want, you can go ahead and melt your heart, your forehead, or your chin down to the ground. And our last cue here, if you can visualize your biceps rotating up and outward, as the back of the arm, the tricep, becomes downward and in. Then you can really start to feel that engagement in the shoulders, the external rotation in the shoulder girdle. That's what we're going here. But if you don't feel that, if that cue is not landing with you, no problem. Just leave it alone, okay? Let's take a few breaths here in puppy pose. As you're ready, you can rise up, and this time we're going to keep our chest close to the ground as we snake our way forward. So keeping that chest close to the ground, we're just going to bring the front body down to the earth. Coming nice and long on the front body, we're going to come into a seal pose. So your arms are extended out in front of you. You can take your arms even further out, okay? So lengthening the arms in front of you, take them to the corners of your mat. So your hands are pointing at about a 45-degree angle towards the corners of the mat. If this is a little bit too much extension, just bring them a little bit closer to you, okay? And when you're ready, you're gonna press down into the pubic bone and keep the tops of the feet on the ground and just begin to press into the hands, lifting the chest up. So slight back bend here. Take your gaze up and out, open up across the chest. Maybe you feel a little bit of engagement and some stimulation in the lower back. Just breathe into it. Let's take one more big breath. Exhale and release. Beautiful. Bring the forehead down to the ground. Maybe stack your hands, rest your forehead for a moment. Okay, let's try that one more time. So taking your arms, extending them out in front of you, maybe taking your hands toward the corners of the mat. We're going to lengthen the arms as you press down into the palms and lift the chest. Pubic bone presses down, tops of the feet are down on the earth, or if it's better for you to tuck your toes, that's fine as well. Now we're opening up across the chest. Maybe you're feeling a little bit of shake in the back of the arms, in the lower back. Take a big breath in here. See if you can really lift that chest and broaden across your collarbone. Big inhale. Exhale. One more. Take a big breath in here. Beautiful. Exhale and release. Again, relax your forehead down, maybe stacking your hands, the opposite hand on top this time, and take a few breaths here. Okay, as you're ready, we're in the flow of the back bends here now, really creating strength in the back side of the body. So let's stay with this. We're going to take our hands, we're going to bring them by our rib cage, okay? So bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, our elbows are squeezing into our side body. So we're going to come into a baby cobra here. Another gentle back bend. Pressing down into the palms just ever so slightly. You're going to roll the shoulders back and just lift the chest. So it's not as much of an extension here as it was in seal pose. You're not lifting up as much, but maybe you feel a little bit more squeeze in the middle of the back. See if you can pull your elbows together more strongly across the back side of the body, and take a big inhale here. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale. Release and relax. Nice job. Take your forehead down. Maybe wriggle your hips. Give your lower back a little bit of a massage. We're going to do that again. So take a breath here. Coming back in for a cobra. This time, you can see if you can press down into the hands a little bit more and lift the chest a little bit higher. So hands are underneath the shoulders, rolling the shoulders back and away from the ears. We're squeezing the elbows together across the back side. We're going to press down into the pubic bone and begin to lift the chest, okay? Can you lift your chest a little bit higher? Using that pressure down into your hands to give yourself a little bit of leverage. Squeezing the elbows in toward the body. Take a big breath in here. Exhale. Inhale, one more big breath. Exhale and release. Nice work, everybody. Take a moment here to relax. Maybe shake the hips out. Maybe release the arms. Give your wrists a shake. That can be quite a bit of work on the wrists as well. And then when you're ready, we're just going to press up, coming back onto all fours, okay? So finding our tabletop position once more. Stacking the shoulders over the wrists and hips over the knees. Knees are hip-width distance apart, okay? Pressing away from the ground here. We're going to lift the left leg behind us, or your right leg, whatever feels good for you. And then you're just going to step it forward. But take the foot to the outside of the left hand, okay? So your foot is going to turn out at about a 45-degree angle. And the toes are going to come off the mat maybe a little bit, okay? We're getting a little bit of external rotation in the hip here. Now we're coming into lizard pose. So take those back toes, press down to lift the back knee, and maybe move that back knee a little bit further away. So now you maybe start to feel your hips open up a little bit more. So toes are at a 45-degree angle pointing off the mat. You can stay up on your hands here. If you feel a really big stretch in your hips and this is enough for you, that's fine. If you've got some blocks, you can even use a block to bring up onto under your hands to lift you up. Or if you'd like a little more, you can come down to your forearms. Okay? So elbows are underneath the shoulders. Maybe you even lift that knee back and draw it back a little bit further. Stretching into the hips here. It can be a really intense stretch. So breathe into the space that you're creating in your hips. Big inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more big inhale. Exhale. If you were down on your elbows, press back up onto your hands. We're going to begin to lift the back knee and bring it back underneath the hip, okay? From here, we're going to transition into a side plank. So if it's messy and not graceful, no problem. Just follow my lead, okay? So we're going to take the back foot and we're going to turn it back behind us, okay? So now the knee is starting to turn towards the front. This front leg is going to begin to lengthen out toward the side, okay? And your shoulder is going to stack over your wrist. So this back knee wants to come right underneath the hip for a little bit support, and that's good. Lengthen the top leg here and find your side supported plank. Lengthening the arm up and over or reaching it over the head. Okay, beautiful. Really lifting that undercarriage of the body away from the ground. We're creating lots of strength in the side body here. Now, if you'd like, you can come with me and lift that foot. Beautiful work, guys. Take your gaze up and out, okay? Open up the shoulders. Don't let the shoulders round in. See if you can open up those shoulders. Roll them onto the back. Take a big inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale and release. Nice job, everybody. We'll bring the hand back down to the ground and we'll find our tabletop position once again. Shoulders are stacked over wrists, hips are over knees, pressing away from the ground. This time we're going to inhale and take the opposite foot out behind us and then step it forward to the outside of the right hand. For me, it's the right hand. For you, if it's the left. We're going to take the toes off the mat at about a 45-degree angle, okay? So that your foot is pointed toward the corner. And from here, press down into your hands, tuck your toes and lift the back knee and shimmy it back a little bit. So you really get an opening up in the hips here. You can stay lifted, okay? You can use blocks to give yourself a little bit of support, or if you want a deeper hip stretch, you can come down to your forearms. Keeping your elbows underneath your shoulders, okay? Take your gaze up and out, or you can even round the head and just let the head drop if that feels comfortable for you. This can be a really intense stretch for the hips, so breathe into the space. If you need to take a moment to make some micro movements and move that knee back a little bit. Big inhale in through the nose. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And one more. Really use the breath to create that opening in the hips. Expanding the hips. Big inhale. Exhale. If you're on your forearms, let's come back to our hands. We're going to lift the torso and we're going to come into our side plank once again. So lifting the back knee, let's bring it back up and in a little bit so that the knee's underneath the hip. And then we're going to take the toes and turn them out as we begin to turn toward the side. I'm sorry, I'm going to take my back away from you, but trust your body here. Shoulder's going to stack over that wrist. Top leg is going to extend. An arm can reach up or you can take it over. Rolling the shoulders onto the back, we're opening up across the chest here. Lots of strength, really pressing down and away from the ground. You can stay here if you'd like, or you can begin to lift that top leg. Pressing the foot away from you, creating strength in the leg as you reach the sole of the foot to the opposite side of the room. Maybe you're feeling a little bit shake. I'm with you. Let's hold and breathe. Big inhale. For 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Good job. Release it down. Let's bring the hand back down. We'll bring the knees underneath the hips and sink the hips towards the heels. Coming in for a quick child's pose. Take a breath here. Your arms can reach forward and chest can melt down to the ground. As you're ready, we'll lift back up. I think we're ready to come in for a couple rounds of a modified Sun Salutation now that we're warm here. So let's go ahead and find our tabletop, okay? we're going to come into our plank. So making sure our shoulders are stacked over our wrists. We're going to take one leg, toes down, extend it behind us, and then opposite leg follows, okay? So now we're in our plank position. We're pressing away from the ground, front body is lifting up. See if you can roll your shoulders back and down away from the ears to keep that collarbone nice and broad. Take a big inhale here, lifting the front body, holding for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Now, just like we were hugging our elbows in when we were doing our Cobra, let's do that again. We're going to hug the elbows into the midline, and we're going to bend the elbows as we bring the front body down. You can take your knees down if you'd like to do a half Cobra, and begin to lower the front body down towards the earth. Beautiful. Hands are by your rib cage now. We're going to come into our Cobra, pressing down into our pubic bone and into our hands. We lift the front body. Take a big inhale. Feel that squeeze in the lower back. Take the gaze up and out. Inhale in. Exhale. Relax down. Beautiful. We'll press back to child's pose. Take a breath here. And then when you're ready, we're going to tuck the toes and roll up to standing. Taking it nice and slow. Heels are going to come down. Rolling up, stacking the vertebrae one at a time, and we find our mountain pose. So we'll walk to the top of the mat here. You can bring your big toes together, or your feet can be on railroad tracks, whatever feels comfortable. Let's take a few rounds of breath as we reach the arms up and over. Bring the palms together and exhale the hands down through heart center. Grounding down into our feet. Again, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. Twice more, just like that. Big inhale, fill the lungs up. Exhale. And one more, reach, take the gaze up with you. And this time we're going to fold forward from the hips, coming into a forward fold. So hinging from the hips, we're going to allow the head to drop forward, lengthen the tailbone up behind us. Maybe you heel toe your feet out to hip width distance and just take a little forward fold stretch here. You can grab opposite elbows. Maybe you have a little sway side to side, releasing the lower back. Allow the crown of the head to relax down to the earth here. Take a few big breaths in here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. If your feet were apart, maybe you bring the toes together, the big toes. And on an inhale, we're going to lengthen up to halfway. So fingers come up onto the shins and the tailbone extends back as the crown of the head extends forward. Roll the shoulders down and away from the ears, thinking nice flat back as if you were in a plank. And then exhale, let's fold. We'll place our hands down to the ground and step back for a plank. So your choice here, you can step back into a full plank or into a half plank, whatever feels good for you. Pressing away from the ground, shoulders are stacked over the wrists. We'll hold for 4. Big breath in, open up across the collarbone. For 2, and for 1, we'll hug the elbows in and lower the front body. Now our hands are by our rib cage. Tops of the feet are on the floor. We're going to press down into the pubic bone and into the hands and lift the chest for a Cobra. Roll the shoulders back and down. Lift that heart. Feel that squeeze in your lower back. Take a big breath in here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, release. Nice work, everybody. Let's tuck the toes, and we're going to push back up into a plank. So again, squeeze the elbows in. Knees can stay down, or you can lift the knees and press back up. Beautiful work, everybody. We'll take the knees down, sink the hips back. Quick child's pose, take a breath, and roll up to standing. Nice job. We'll walk up again to the top of the mat. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Twice more, just like that. Inhale. Exhale. This time, take a big inhale. Exhale and fold. Inhale, come up for a halfway lift. Reach the crown of the head out toward the horizon. Fingertips can stay down on the ground or come up to the front of the shins. Nice flat back here. Exhale, release, forward fold. And we're going to step back into our plank. So either knees can come down, shoulders stack over wrists, or knees are lifted, front body pressing away and lifting away from the earth. Roll the shoulders back and down and hold for 4. Breathe for 3, for 2, and 1. Now squeeze the elbows in toward the midline, lower the front body. Knees are down or knees are lifted. Front body comes down to the ground. Hands are by the rib cage, coming in for a cobra. Pressing down into the pubic bone in the palms, we lift the front body. Roll the shoulders back and down. Open up across the chest. Take a big inhale. Exhale. One more big breath in. Inhale. Exhale, release. Tuck the toes. Press the heels back to engage the legs and lift the kneecaps, and get ready to press back up into plank. Squeeze the elbows together and lift. Beautiful job, guys. Oh, you look so good. Well done. Let's take a big breath in here. Exhale. Okay, now you can come and take the knees down and push back into child's pose. Or if you're ready, we're going to come in for downward dog, okay? So from here, either take your knees down or keep your knees lifted. We're going to lift the hips up, okay? So press into the palms, lots and lots. Begin to lift the hips up towards the sky. Back of the legs are lengthening and the heels are starting to reach back and down, okay? So we're coming up into this V position. You can walk your feet in slightly. If that helps, give your heels a little bit more space to come down to the earth. And again, we want to feel those hands really pressing down into the ground as the chest presses back towards the tops of the thighs. That's okay if you want to have your knees bent as much as you need to. Just think about really lengthening the back of the spine here, okay? The crown of your head can drop down towards the earth. Mommy! I can hear my son calling me. Maybe you guys can hear him as well. He's awake now. I think we're all a little bit more awake now in this downward dog. Let's take a few breaths here. Are you shaking? Are you feeling the strength building in your core, in your legs? Hold for 4, for 3, for 2, and on the 1, I want everyone to bend your knees. Bend your knees lots and lots. Look up towards your hands and step up towards your hands, okay? Taking little steps. Beautiful. We'll inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Let's try that one more time. Here he is. He's going to come join us for our last round. Let's take a big inhale in. Hello. We're going to exhale. Hi, Mama. From the hip. Hi, baby. We're going to inhale halfway. Crown of the head reaches out towards the horizon. Hi, babe. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come down to the ground and you step back into plank position. He's saying hi, everyone. All right, everybody, from here, squeeze the elbows in and lower the front body. Oh, no. Oh, no. Nice work. Hands are by the rib cage. You're going to inhale, lift the front body, roll the shoulders back and down. Big breath in.
Ouch. Ouch.
Exhale.
Ouch.
Inhale in Cobra. Exhale, release. If you're ready, we're going to press back up into plank pose. So engage the legs, lift the kneecaps,
Hi, Mama.
hug the elbows in, and press up. Hi, baby. Now you can stay here, or you can take your knees down and push back into child's pose. If you're ready, we're going to come into downward dog one more time. Begin to press down into the palms and lift the hips up. Heels are coming down towards the ground. Maybe you're walking those feet in a little bit. Lengthening the spine, pressing the chest towards the top of the thighs. Relax the crown of your head down towards the ground. And just breathe here. You've cultivated all this strength in your shoulders, in your core. Let's put it to some work here. Press down into those hands and hold for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Nice job, everybody. Bend your knees, take your knees down to the ground, and just sit back on your heels. Let's take a moment here. Let's take a few breaths. Maybe shake out the wrists, shake out the arms. You guys did excellent. Well done. We're going to start to cool down and bring the energy back down. So let's start with a little bit of a hip stretch here. We'll come back onto all fours. And this time, you're going to take your left knee and bring it behind and across your right. You're going to have to go up to Dad for a wee. I'm sorry, babe. So knees are crossed behind. I'll come show you the front view. Knees are crossed behind here. And then you're just going to sink your hips back towards your heels. Okay, this can be an intense hip stretch. But our hips are nice and loose here. Maybe you sit back onto your heel, or maybe you let your feet come out to the side and see if you can ground your sits bones down to the ground. Now if you can't, that's fine. If you have to be up here, no problem. Just use your hands as support as you try and sink your hips backward. If you can settle in, just settle in here for a moment, taking a few breaths. If you'd like, you can even fold the body forward, draping your front body over those legs. Good job.
Mommy.
Hi, babe.
Mommy. My toe happy. Beep, beep. Oh, no. That's not tea. That's not tea. I know.
As you feel ready, we'll lift the front body. We'll uncross the legs. Come back to all fours. It's an easier place to start sometimes. And then we'll take the opposite knee and we'll place it back and behind. Again, sink the hips back down toward the heels. If your bum reaches the ground, that's excellent. If not, you can always take a block and place it underneath to give yourself some support.
I know.
You're playing a little catch with the pillows, huh? As you can see, there's a bit of chaos going on, but this is why we do yoga, right? So we can relax into the discomfort sometimes. Maybe if you're feeling any discomfort in the hips, it's all right. And if you'd like, you can take a moment and fold the body forward. If you've got a little creature to hug, you can give your creature a little hug. Finding some deeper breaths in here.
My toe happy.
Okay, you go play with your toys, baby, okay? I'm nearly done. I'll come join you in a few moments. Big inhale in. Exhale. Inhale nice and deep. And exhale. truck. We'll lengthen the legs out and
My little taily.
And we're going to come back
My
onto our
little
backs.
taily.
What's it carrying? So coming back onto our backs
Some
for our
cars.
Shavasana.
Like some cars.
Some cars, that's right. Finding a comfortable position. Finishing off just as we started the beginning of our practice. We'll lengthen the legs out long.
A broken from Mama.
A broken one. Or you can keep the knees bent and you can place the soles of your feet on the ground. Allow the knees to rest in toward one another. Maybe you take a cushion or a towel behind your lower back or behind your neck. We're just going to take these final moments here to let the fruits of our practice seep in. Let our body start to download and remember all of the feelings and sensations and movements that we've done. In these final moments, if your mind begins to wander, again, it is absolutely no problem. You can gently bring it back to the breath. Using that breath to relax the body into this final resting position. Maybe bringing some awareness to your toes and relaxing your toes. And relaxing the feet and the ankles, the shins, the calves. Relaxing the hips. Let your belly go soft. Maybe you feel the natural curve in your lumbar spine. Maybe you feel that opening in front of your heart as you feel your shoulders grow heavy into the ground. Just relaxing your arms down by your side.
I did a giant dump truck.
A giant dump truck.
My.
And there may be noise in your space. There may be other people. There may be little creatures or pets or whatever have you trying to grab your attention. And that's fine. Just let it be there as you take these final moments to stay in tune with your breath. To stay in tune with your awareness. If you want to close down your eyes, close your eyes and relax all the features of your face. I'll mind the time as you take some deep breaths. That's right.
My different in my normal wheel. My normal wheel.
No, it's missing a wheel.
My normal wheel.
See if you can let go of the breath and allow the body just to breathe naturally.
I knew a traffic jam.
You can remain in Shavasana for as long as you'd like. You can end your practice here. If you'd like to come with me, we'll just bring some gentle movement back into the fingers and in the toes, giving them a little wriggle. Take a few deeper breaths into the body and then maybe stretch. Take the arms up and over. Lengthen those toes down. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then bring the knees in and drop them over to the right for a breath. We'll slowly press back up to a seated position. Come on, let's do our final namaste together.
Wow.
Finding ourselves in a seat once more.
Wow.
Let's take a moment to share another breath together as we've cultivated all this beautiful energy. Atreyu is going to end it off with us as well today. Big inhale. Let's reach the arms up overhead. Take in all that energy. Bring it back down toward ourselves. And take a bow for yourself and for one another for taking this time to practice and to share your energy. It is such a gift.